Hello, my name is Mariana, and this is another one of the series called Something Different, where I just think of something that, occurs to me very spontaneously that I feel like might be helpful to you in your journey throughout your life. Because it's almost like, these are memories from my own life experiences that have just stuck with me, right? It's like those things that occur to us and they just never leave, whether for a good reason or maybe not so good reason, but either way, I feel like these things that just stay with us, it's just because they have like a more powerful meaning to it, or just because they are, teaching us something very important. And so the thing that I want to share with you today is in regards to something that, I received in a sense, or I heard it from somebody that, I don't know if you've had people like that in your life that just cross paths with you, once, and you've never seen them before, and then from that point on you will never see them again. It's like, these type of people, to me, I call them earth angels, because I feel like they come in just the most perfect way. It's like divine timing, playing a trick, but in the most beautiful kind of synchronistic way of placing people together that just have something to offer you, right? Whether they are conscious of it or not, whether they are giving you, a conscious advice by saying something to you, or, just by you being close to them and you hear them say something that just triggers some kind of very, very important insight in you. And so the story that I want to tell you today that happened to me a few years ago now. I was still working in the architecture office that I worked when I was finishing architecture school, and then I worked there for a little bit of time after that when I graduated. And I remember that one of the things that to me was an incredible advantage was that I lived really close by, so I was, I walked there, right? And that to me felt like just such a huge privilege. But the place that I lived before here, there was this kind of a strange intersection between three roads, and there was like this small patch of sidewalk right in the middle of this crossing that was a bit chaotic, and I always had to go through that spot. So I had to cross, two crosswalks. So, I crossed one, and then I went to this middle section, this random piece of sidewalk in the middle, and then I would cross the other one and then continue my way. So, I was crossing the first one, and then the traffic light, close to me, so I couldn't cross it, right? And there was this lady beside me. She must have been, I don't know, close to her 70s or maybe older. She was really, really old. She wouldn't be able to, cross that street, even if she ran. And I never crossed the street, with the red light, just because, the traffic was intense, so I didn't want to risk my life. And the moment that I was, all of these thoughts were going through my head, because right behind me, there was this guy, he must have been my age at the time, or maybe younger, and he was fast, right? He was fit and fast, and he seemed to be like in a rush, because he just ran. He almost got killed. He almost was run over by a car, because the traffic light was just opening for the cars, and this guy said, no, I have to cross because I'm late for something, right? This might have been the thought process that went through his mind. And I was just, you know, in just a split second, everything that, you know, that image brought to me, and my certainty that I would never do this to myself, it seemed like that was exactly the same thing that the lady by my side was thinking. And, you know, maybe because she was older, she didn't have any type of, you know, shame or fear or insecurity in sharing with me her thought. That was exactly what I was thinking, but because I was younger, you know, I was just shy, and, you know, I didn't want to interact with the stranger. But she said to me the most simple words that I will always remember, because I feel like it's not only, you know, a piece of truth that is extremely helpful and a really, really good reminder for whenever we think that we are late for anything, right? And then we take, you know, I want to say like rushed actions, or, you know, we make decisions without thinking, you know, thinking thoroughly through all of the consequences that that action could bring, right? And so she looked at me with the sweetest eyes. It was like it was like, you know, so spontaneous of her, right? And because I was the only one by her side, it was like, you know, it felt like, you know, it was just the perfect person, I assume, that, you know, she felt like sharing what she was thinking. And to me, that was a huge lesson. So the phrase that she said to me, although it was in Portuguese, but I'm going to translate it, she said to me, it's better to lose a minute than to lose your life in a second. So it's so simple, right? It's so simple. And maybe because I don't know, we put so much onto ourselves, or we just think that we are, you know, invincible, or, you know, that nothing could happen to us. It's like we defy things so much. And maybe because we feel like we're always late for something. And so this phrase that she has given me, you know, just sharing her thoughts, but to me felt like a really incredible, wise advice that I carry with me since then, and I will carry with me forever. And this is the reason why I want to share with you, because I feel like, you know, whenever you feel like you should be doing something, you know, faster, or, you know, things should be moving faster, think about that, right? Think about how it's better to lose a minute than to lose your life in a second, right? It's like, it's again, you know, back to the same message that I received from my future self, that actually, I think it was the first video of this series, but, you know, we have time. We do have time. So we can spare a minute, right? Instead of risking ourselves in such a huge and, you know, reckless kind of way, right? So it's like taking care of ourselves is also giving us a minute to not rush into doing things that could be, you know, very, it's like very definite, I want to say, right? So I hope this was helpful to you. This is just something that I, you know, whenever I think about being late, I go back to that thought, and it really brings me peace. So yeah, I hope this was helpful to you. Thank you so much for being here with me, and I'll see you next. Bye.